This is Worth the Journey, a Worthington Schools podcast. My name is Angie Adrian.
And I am Jeff Maddox. Together, Ange and I serve as assistant superintendents and also the host of this podcast. And Ange, believe it or not, we're heading into our third year and people are actually listening.
Thankfully, it's not really about us. It's about the amazing people that we get to interview.
Worthington is home to about 11,000 students and 1,400 staff members. But what makes this place so special is the relationships, the culture, and the sense of community we share.
We celebrate the journeys of the people who make Worthington Schools such a great place to work and grow.
So whether you're a student, staff member, parent, alum, or just curious about Worthington Schools, we're glad you're joining us.
Good morning, Jeff. It's good to see you.
Morning, Ange. Welcome back. Hope you had a great summer.
I did. And I think, sometimes it's your own fault if you don't have a good summer, right?
That's true. Every summer is a good summer. Yeah. Hopefully, everybody in Worthington was able to relax and recharge, and we're excited for the upcoming school year.
And I cannot believe, it's year 3 for us with this podcast.
That's unbelievable.
Year 3.
Right? We thought we were going to get canceled after season 1.
And then something really spectacular happened in year 2.
Probably saved us.
It did save us.
No,
you want to tell
true.
the audience what happened in year 2?
Yeah. So, audience, you might not know this, but we won Best School Podcast in the state of Ohio.
Best School Podcast, year 2. Year 2.
Yeah. What's
it going to be this year? Are we going to go nationally this year?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's a good chance that doesn't happen.
Okay. But let's tell them the real thing, though, in that year 2 award.
Yeah. We were the only school that submitted, so we actually won. But like I had said, it's like winning the Super Bowl but not playing another team. We actually won Best School Podcast in the state of Ohio, but awesome. We were the only one that was in that category. But
we probably should have left that part out.
But you can't take it away. We won it.
You can't. We won it. We have the trophy. Right. I saw it sitting over by the coffee pot
100%.
This morning.
If there are listeners out there that want to come visit it, please come see it. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty humbling. We actually have spotlights on it. It's in a glass case. You can't touch it, though.
I don't know if our audience is laughing, but I'm glad we can make ourselves laugh. I'm super excited about who we get to interview this morning.
Very excited.
So when I think about the young man that we're interviewing this morning, I think golf courses, young love, and elementary education.
Yeah, so when I hear young love, I think of the song from Grease, Summer Love, Summer Love.
Had me a blast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy cute as can be. Hey, there he is.
That's
Rob
right.
Messenheimer, Director of Elementary Education. Welcome, Rob.
Welcome, Rob.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be
on,
here.
Bud.
Talk about Worthington Schools a little bit.
Absolutely.
That's good. Rob, we'll start by just telling us a little bit about yourself, your career, your family, whatever you want us to know about you.
Yeah, so I get the pleasure of serving as Director of Elementary Education here in Worthington. So I get to work with our 11 elementary schools and our awesome preschool at Sutter Park. And just super fortunate to be in this role and to get to work with the people that I get to work with in Worthington Schools every day. A little bit about me. So my wife, Kristen, is a 5th grade teacher out in New Albany, and I've got 2 kids. So I've got 2 daughters, Evie, who's in 8th grade, and Ella, who's a 5th grader. So that's a little bit about me and my personal life. This is my 5th year in this role as elementary director. Prior to that, I got the opportunity to serve as principal at Worthington Estates Elementary for 6 years. And then prior to coming to Worthington, I served as an assistant principal at a middle school for 2 years and taught for 9 years. So
that's good.
I'm terrible at this.
That was great. That was perfect.
Good.
It was perfect.
So thanks for talking about kind of your educational journey. Why don't you go backwards even further than that?
I'd like to hear that, yeah.
I want to hear your story of how, when you went off to college, what did you go off to college to do?
Yeah, so kind of a unique path to education that I've taken. So in my house growing up, Dad's rule was when you finish 8th grade, you have to get a job. So I got a job because I had a friend that was a little older, able to drive. I got a job at doing golf course maintenance. So all throughout high school and college, I worked at golf courses and did golf course maintenance. Thought I wanted to be a golf course superintendent. not to be confused with the Dr. Bowers kind of superintendent, but thought that was going to be my path. So went to Ohio State, actually majored in turf grass science and agricultural construction management. So that's what my degree is. Got out in the field and quickly realized two things. A, if I ever wanted to have a family, that wasn't going to be the path for me. And B, really wanted to do something that was just more fulfilling and more rewarding and something where I felt like I was making a difference. So decided to go back to school. My mom was a teacher. So she was a longtime Worthington teacher here. She taught Spanish at our freshman building when there used to be a standalone freshman building, and then at Thomas Worthington for many, many years. I also had an uncle who was an elementary principal who I was really close with, and had the opportunity to spend some time at his school, worked there one summer, and just quickly found out that education was going to be the path that I take because I felt like I could really make a difference. And that's turned out to be true. It is such a rewarding field. So that's my path.
So follow up on that and kind of take yourself back to that transitional time going from you thought you're going to be this golf course maintenance person, and then you had the courage to actually kind of reflect and change. So looking back on your path as a golf course maintenance person to leading schools, what gave you the courage to change direction and pursue a career where you could make a difference? So what gave you that courage to do that?
Yeah, I think just really thinking about what you want out of your professional career. And for me, it was I wanted to be in a field where I felt like I could give back, and I felt like that my work made a difference beyond just what I did on a daily basis. So I really think in education, you get that opportunity to have an impact that's more long-lasting and really can make a difference for people once they leave your school or leave your school district. So that's really what drove me back to school and to have a change in what field I was going to be in.
Yeah, right.
Rob, you and I get to work, really closely together. Our offices are just an office in between us, and so we see each other all the time and talk about your work. And in our pre-interview, when we talked with you before the podcast, you said that Worthington's magic really are the people and the culture in Worthington. So you get to see that every day with the principals that you work with. Talk to us a little bit about the role and what gives you, I'll say, that fire in your belly to be able to work with leaders and be a leader of leaders in Worthington schools.
Yeah, so just going back with what you started with, feel fortunate to be in Worthington every day. And I don't say that tongue in cheek. I really do think it's a special place. It starts with the culture here. So in Worthington, what I really appreciate is that there's a true belief that we make gains with students and families by starting with that relationship piece. And that's the value here in Worthington, is that we take care of people first. And then you look at the amazing people that we have working in Worthington, our teachers, our support staff, our building principals. Each and every day, there's not a day that goes by where we don't see someone that goes above and beyond to help somebody else. So that's what I really appreciate about Worthington, is that culture is built on people and starts from the ground up, from building relationships. And then we're able to make a difference when kids in lots of other ways, just from that relationship that we've established with them. When you talk about working with other leaders, I'm fortunate to work with just an amazing principal team. So I'm going to go back to, I said before, it starts with the people. We have excellent leaders, so that makes my job really easy in some ways because we have a team of principals that's really invested in the work that they do. They care about others. They care about what their school is able to provide for kids and families and for their staff. So that makes my work really easy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Rob, you mentioned this, but you get to lead 12 principals, elementary principals, and a preschool principal. What do you believe your secret is for keeping such a big team like that connected and really rowing in the same direction?
Yeah, so I don't know if I have any magic secret. I wish I did. I wish I could say that. but our team is amazing in lots and lots of ways. So a couple things that stand out to me is when you're a principal, it's a very demanding role, and you're asked to be the advocate for a lot of different people, students, families, staff. And sometimes balancing that can be really tricky. One thing I appreciate about our team is they see themselves as part of something bigger. So we all are part of our school, but we're also part of Worthington schools. So I think our principals do a great job of finding that balance of being the advocate for their school, but also realizing that you're part of this bigger Worthington school district. So one of the things we talk about is understanding when it's the right time to be unique at your school and when it's the right time to be more collective and move in the same direction. So I appreciate our team because it'd be really easy as a principal to go back to your building and shut your door and do things the way that you want to do it.
Yeah.
But when you do that, you're not helping the district as a whole. So our team works really, really well together. They care about each other. They share. There's not a culture of one-upping or stealing ideas. They really work to support each other. And I think when they do that, what we're able to do is we're able to make a better Worthington schools together, working together.
With,
Go ahead, Jeff. Nope, go ahead.
Without a doubt, you have a great team led by you as a great leader. Why don't we take the time to talk about what people should be excited about our elementary schools? What's the focus? We talk about goals every year. What are some of the goals that you and your team have set for this upcoming school year and our listeners get to hear?
Great question, Jeff. So really excited about everything that we have going on in our elementary schools this year. So one of the big lifts this year is we're implementing a new ELA curriculum. So Steve Griffin, our ELA coordinator, has done an excellent job along with our AAPL team in kind of setting the stage and making sure that we have everything in place to help our teachers be successful with that. Our teachers so far have embraced that curriculum. So just really impressed. I know it's really hard when we go through a major change like that. But our teachers have been fantastic and really embracing that, hey, this is going to be something that is good for kids. So we really believe that the approach that this curriculum brings is going to have a positive impact for all of our kids when we think about reading and writing and English language arts. So that implementation of the core knowledge language arts or CKLA curriculum is a big focus area this year. Other work that we've been doing in our schools. So we've been doing a lot of work around our culture and making sure that we're clear with kids and what we expect at school so that we have a positive environment. And when we create that positive environment at school, students are able to learn better. So we've spent really the last couple years, a big focus of our team has been on what we call PBIS, so Positive Behavior Intervention Supports. And so we've spent a lot of time thinking about what does our school culture look like? And when a student walks in, what do they really feel in our school? So this is everything from how do we address things? How do we help kids learn when something doesn't go right? How do we make sure that we're clear with what we expect in our schools? What are the environments and structures we have in place to really create that positive learning environment? So that's an area we've spent a lot of focus. And then this year, we were excited to introduce all-day kindergarten across the board. So we've moved from previously we had a model where families would pay tuition to attend all-day kindergarten. We've since moved to a model now where all-day kindergarten is free for every student. So I think that's a real win for all of our families to have that opportunity. We've taken away that barrier for that some families might have felt in order to be able to participate in all-day kindergarten programming. So far, we're off to a good start with that, and I expect that continues to move in a real positive direction.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Also, a part of your job here at the Worthington Education Center is overseeing our Welcome Center. And so our Welcome Center is on the first floor, right when you walk in. And many of our families have had the opportunity of being engaged with the people in the Welcome Center. And you have a great team down there. So tell us a little bit about some of the changes in the Welcome Center or what you're most proud of with that team.
Yeah, well, the Welcome Center team says that I'm not quite as good at running the Welcome Center as the previous leader of the Welcome Center, who was our assistant superintendent, Jeff Maddox.
That's not true. But I am
I
that
know, I'm
guy,
just
and
trying to
you're
suck up to the assistant superintendent, but yeah, Welcome Center, it's kind of a neat part of the job. So you get to learn a lot about families, but it's neat in the sense that you really get a feel for the movement within our Worthington schools. So there's not a day that goes by where we don't have somebody that's either coming or leaving Worthington schools. Um, Unlike other parts of our school district, the summer is our busiest time in the Welcome Center. So we're, receiving students that are coming to us from other places. And we're saying goodbye to some of our families that have been here in Worthington schools. And then we're also doing things like processing open enrollment. So families that want to attend a school that's not their home school, and making sure that we're getting all of our kindergartners enrolled, which is a massive lift for the Welcome Center. So the ladies down there, Tracy Endicott and Tammy Perito, do an awesome job of just being a welcoming face and voice for our families. So that's something that we really try and stress as being important in the Welcome Center, is really being aware of how are we welcoming families to Worthington, because that's often their first
Sure.
touch point
Yeah.
for Worthington schools.
super proud of the work in the Welcome Center. Rob has already hit the ground running, and I look forward to, he's going to implement some really good changes that I think are going to take something that is really good as a welcoming environment, and then make it even better. So proud of your work already. Do a nice job. So you've spent a lot of time talking about work, but I am kind of curious as I listen to you. There is definitely a theme of empathy that comes out of every story, and it just kind of the way you talk. But behind empathy is somebody who has shaped your life. Talk with us about who influenced you to become the person you are today.
Okay, great question. So I guess for me, two people really come to mind for me, and that's my dad and my grandfather on my mom's side. So both of them have passed away, so no longer here. But my dad was just kind of a constant presence in my life. So he was super reliable. So great father, great husband, really valued. I think something that was important to him is making sure that you give your all, and no matter what you do. So really working hard and making sure that you put forward your full effort in everything that you do. And then my grandfather, just kind of a neat story. So my grandparents immigrated over from Italy. And so he grew up in Italy in a time after World War I where the country was just really depressed, a lot of inflation, not a lot of opportunities. And just a neat story of, I won't go into the details, but immigrating over to America and just kind of building this life for himself. So I think I often look at his story and remind myself that when something feels hard to me, that it surely wasn't anywhere close to some of the things that he had to kind of persevere through. So that idea of perseverance. So thinking about education, one thing when I think of both of them, and I mentioned that neither one of them is here with me, but certainly there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of something that I've taken with them and carry with them even today in my life. So I think that's what's really cool about education. When you think about being in the classroom or working in a school, our hope is that when students leave our classroom or leave our school, that we leave them with something that they're taking away that's going to impact them for the rest of their lives. So I think about my dad and my grandfather that way. I could also think about teachers that I've had in my life that I've taken things away, and to this day continue to have an impact on how I live my life and how I operate as a husband, a father, or an employee.
Rob, it's evident that family means a lot to you, and that's really an important part of who you are. Not too long ago, you shared a story with me. I think maybe we were trying to find a time to play golf together or do something, and you said, "Yeah, Saturday mornings are my time with my mom and my family, and we go over there every Saturday morning." Is that still happening? Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that.
So, well, I try to make it every Saturday, but now as the kids get older, sports and things like that sometimes get in the way. But growing up on my mom's side of the family, every Saturday we would go over to my grandparents' house. All my aunts and uncles and cousins would come over, and that was just the expectation is Saturday morning. You go over to grandma and grandpa's and you sit around the table and you eat food and you talk and you be together. So since my grandparents have passed, that tradition has kind of continued now it's at my mom's house, and my uncles come over and sometimes cousins will come over, and we've just continued that tradition of Saturday
great.
mornings is a time for us to be together and just get an opportunity to catch up and spend time as a family.
Rob, you've clearly been shaped by your dad and your grandpa. Also, I know somebody who's super important in your life is your wife. Why don't you talk with us about how you met and the story behind that summer love connection?
All right. So I've known my wife, Kristen, since she was in the 4th grade and I was in the 6th grade. So her brother was my best friend in middle school. And so her brother and I remained great friends. Ended up going to the same university and ended up living together through college. And so fast forward until after graduation, and then I was starting graduate program to move into education. Well, during that time, kind of reconnected with his sister, who is now my wife, and he participated in a program where he was traveling to Findlay to do some graduate work. So he was kind of in and out of Columbus at that time. Well, during that time, while he was away, started dating his sister. So you can imagine how that went over. So I had actually a kind of a ban put on me where for a year, my now brother-in-law didn't talk to me. So his feeling was nothing good can come of this. The only positive outcome that's probably not going to happen is you guys could get married, but nothing good is going to come out of this. So imagine this, living with somebody where you don't talk to somebody for a whole year. So that was how that started off. Well, long story short, Kristen and I worked out. We eventually got engaged and then married. And then this next summer, we'll celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. So it worked out. Her brother and I, just to report, are great friends and in a good spot. But we had some rocky ground there. So kind of an interesting story there on
And
how
It was
we
a
met.
long year.
It kind of sounded like the original reality TV show, like Real World.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that camera in there? You literally didn't speak to each other for a year.
Literally didn't speak to each other for a year.
Shout out to the brother-in-law holding strong
Most
for an
awkward.
entire
Well,
year.
if you know him at all,
That's impressive.
he can hold a grudge. He can do that. So strength of his.
Uh-oh. When this goes live, there might be another grudge.
That's a great love for his sister too. Nothing stronger than family bonds. I like it.
Exactly. Rob, you've talked a lot about your principles, and if the audience could see you, they would see your eyes light up when you get to talk about the team that you work with. We also know that at the beginning of the year, during convocation, we talked a lot about culture and standards, and so you model that in ensuring that you build a really strong culture within your principal team. We know that both of those are vital, but they're really not the same when we talk about culture and standards. That culture is how it feels to be a part of Worthington, how it feels to be a part of your principal team. It's about the relationships. And we know that standards, on the other hand, are what we aspire to be and aspire to do. Talk to us a little bit about the expectations that you have for your team, some things that maybe stretch your team, and then how you bring your team together, because you get to meet with them on a monthly basis. You're out and about in the buildings, so you meet with them often throughout the week, but you have monthly meetings and you bring a team together, I believe, to plan those monthly meetings. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so every month we have a elementary principal meeting. It's kind of our one opportunity a month to get together and talk about what seems like an infinite list of items, just because the role of principal is such a diverse role in the types of things that you interact with on a daily basis. So those are the couple hours of the month that I most look forward to because we get to be together as a team, and we so rarely get to do that. When we talk about culture, I don't know that the culture of what we're trying to build is any different than what we're trying to build within our school district. So Dr. Bowers has done an outstanding job of really kind of laying out what are the expectations in Worthington schools. So we think about be kind to kids and communicate, communicate, and communicate. Believe in growth, right? Those 6 expectations that Dr. Bowers puts forward, I think are really the same expectations regardless of your role in Worthington schools. So I think those are the same things that we're trying to make sure that we're following through on in our leadership as principals as well. So those are the areas we tend to focus on in making sure that we're serving our families and our staff in those same ways that Dr. Bowers expects, a classroom teacher or a bus driver to interact with students and families. So on the culture piece, that's that. In terms of standard for myself, I really look at my role as to support our principals. So I think it's important that they're involved and have a say in what we talk about in our meetings because they're facing, challenges on a daily basis. And oftentimes it's helpful if we spend time collectively as a group to talk through those. So that's something that's really important to me is to be able to step back, really try and listen. What are the needs of our group? And then also look forward and think about what are some things that might be on the radar that might be headed towards our principals that we need to just be proactive in talking about too. So my job is to help set them up for success in school buildings. Don't know if I always get that right, but that's certainly my goal is to provide a level of support for our principals.
Yeah. Rob, we really appreciate you and your leadership and the leadership of our principals and building a community where culture and standards coexist. That's not easy, but we know when it happens, it's the Worthington way, and it's how we hope to do business in Worthington schools. So we appreciate your leadership. Thanks for all that you do for Worthington, and you're not done yet.
Uh-oh.
You're not off the hot seat yet because we have something up next, Mr. Maddox.
Interesting enough, Rob has been talking to me about this for 3 weeks. This actually made him nervous. He told me he did not sleep for 3 straight weeks and has repeatedly asked to get his hands on these rapid fire questions, but nobody.
Well, they were laying on the table over there, and he tried to snatch them up before the podcast, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Buckle up.
All right,
these are some
let's
doozies.
Do it.
We have one rule. You can ask to pass. The answer is always no. We will wait you out uncomfortably. All right. Would you rather sink a 30-foot putt to win your dream round at Augusta or win or let me try that again. Would you rather sink a 30-foot putt to win your dream round at Augusta or get free Chipotle for life?
I would definitely, without a doubt, sink the 30-foot
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I had an opportunity to play at Augusta, that's the path I'm going.
You're going that one? Is there any food that would move you off of that? Like free something for the rest of your life?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
Any, Ange? I
No,
know you're a golfer too.
no,
You're taking
yeah.
that 30-foot putt? That would be pretty impressive. Accidentally hit reply all or forget to attach the file to an email to all?
Oh, definitely forget to attach the file for the email. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want to go down the reply all route.
What is your favorite go-to unhealthy snack?
Oh, I'm probably going, is pizza a snack? You put pizza as a snack?
Pizza's a meal. I mean, like, listen, you can always make pizza a snack, but typically you sit down and eat pizza as a meal.
So is pizza a snack if you walk by, somebody's eating it and you just take one piece? Is that a snack or is that a meal?
That would be a snack.
Out of their hand?
Yeah, like out of their hand. No, like out of they've got the pizza there and they just say, hey, you want a piece? And you grab
Yeah.
Like, is that a
I don't know if
snack?
it's I guess it's unhealthy, but I love cheese. So I
Oh,
find
yeah.
myself eating way more cheese than I probably should.
Yeah.
So slicing off a, hunk of cheese or
So
grabbing a slice of cheese.
recently I've gone on this whole string cheese route.
Oh.
Like I love string cheese. Like I could totally crush string cheese. All right, what is the greatest
Do you
sports
actually
movie?
like string it off, or
I
do
do.
you just bite the?
Oh, absolutely.
you
I'm
string
totally just stringing it
yeah.
and eating it, but it's good. I love string cheese. Greatest sports movie of all time.
Oh man, that's a great question. I
I've got mine.
You've
Come
got
on,
yours. I am the I am not a pop culture person, so I will say the greatest sports movie of all time. I'm not allowed to pass, so this is going to be a terrible answer.
This is awkward. You're a sports guy too.
Super
You
awkward.
can't
Yeah.
think of the greatest sports movie of all time. That's shocking to me.
There's a lot of them.
Think of genres. You got
You know,
baseball. There's a ton of
I
them.
guess
Basketball.
one,
There's
Siri,
one
that
that pops out.
I've enjoyed the Rocky movies.
Oh,
I do
are you
like
Rocky
I
one,
think
two, three,
Rocky-
4?
I do. Like
I
them.
like
Nobody-
Rocky 1's good, and then Rocky 3 is good.
You like Clubber Lang? You like that one?
Rocky 3 is
Clubber Lang.
which one's
That's Mr. T.
Mr.
Rocky
T. Yeah.
4 is.
I'm sorry, Rocky 4 with Ivan Drago. Yeah.
That's a good one too. Ange, what is yours? Because you sat up in the
I
seat
did.
when I asked that
I was
question.
excited to answer that one. A little bit different than the rom-com question, but I like Field of Dreams.
That is a good one.
Oh, that's
I
a
do
That
good
was
like
one of
one
my
too.
faves.
That's a good
Yep.
one too.
So for me, hands down, is Miracle on Ice.
Oh,
That
Oh
movie
yeah,
is
that was a
so
good
Yeah,
one.
that's good.
Yeah, that's a good
That
one.
movie is good. Would you rather do cafeteria duty for a week straight or recess duty during indoor recess?
I'm probably gonna go. I actually enjoyed being in the cafeteria, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
cafeteria duty. I like that you see every student and you get the opportunity to kind of bounce around. So I'm going cafeteria duty.
All right. Your favorite ice cream and from where?
I'm probably gonna go graders here, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna be the black raspberry chip.
Oh, that's a
But
good one.
I've listened to the other podcasts.
Uh-huh.
I want to stick up for
Nope. Listen.
Angie Adrian a little bit
Come
here.
on, this
a
is a
good
total
vanilla
setup.
with the beans in it is a really good ice cream. So
Yeah.
so she's not
Pass.
off
Go,
base
Rob.
there.
Pass.
I knew I liked that guy.
No, that was a total. Come on.
No,
You're literally his boss.
he's building a culture of trust, and he's setting the standard for vanilla.
What advice would you give teachers new to the profession?
Ooh, great question. I think a piece of advice that I would give is pick up the phone. So I think when I think back to when I started as a teacher, I probably wasn't as good as I should have been on actually picking up the phone. I know it can feel a little intimidating sometimes for some people, but what you get from making that connection helps you in the moment, but it also pays dividends, throughout the entirety of the school year and beyond. So that would be my advice. Pick up the phone.
Ange and her team Ange and her team do a great job at new teacher orientation, and they take new teachers through what it sounds like, feels like to make those calls, and they actually practice them, which is really cool. Name a person who has inspired you during your time in Worthington.
Oh man, this is really challenging to think of one person that's inspired me. Am I allowed to pick more than one person?
Sure.
Well, just because I work with them really closely, I'm gonna give a shout out to my principal team. And what's inspired me is a couple things: how they work together, and then also Dr. Bowers talks about one of the things we have to do to be a great leader in Worthington is be able to connect, and that means going above and beyond when you're working with somebody. So I feel like they do a great job modeling that and really going above and beyond what's expected of them. So.
Yeah, great. What was your nickname growing up as a kid?
Well, up until 6th grade, I went by Robbie. So I don't know if that's a nickname, but I was Robbie with an IE at the end up until I started middle school. And then I really tried to make that transition.
What was the ultimate defining line? I mean, what got you to want to transition from Robbie to Rob?
I think it was just time. You
Yeah.
know, the IE, and this isn't no offense to anybody that has an IE on the end of the name, but for me, middle school felt like the time to just drop the IE and move down to
Gotcha.
Rob.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You know this as a longtime listener. This is just a simple build up to the most important question, and that is, what is the greatest cereal of all time?
All right. I have two. This is coming from somebody. I bet you I haven't had a bowl of cereal in 3 to 4 years, but I've had a lot of cereal in my life. If I had to go sugar cereal,
Yep.
oh, I'm really torn here.
Is there any other kind?
I'm going to go Fruity Pebbles
Oh.
or Captain Crunch.
The guy said work in the room,
Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch. He listened to
but he
our
said Fruity
podcast.
Pebbles first.
He
though.
did say it first.
But
said it
You're
first.
right.
one of my, maybe my favorite cereal, and this might be a little out of the box, is Cinnamon Life.
Oh, that is a good one. Any Life cereal is good. That's an underrated cereal.
Yeah,
That's a
you
really
let
good
it
one.
sit in the milk a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
It becomes a
Gotta get
little
a little
bit soft
soggy.
with still
Yeah.
some crunch. That's
good.
the best way to eat Life.
So good. Hey, Rob, thank you so much. Ange and I, the district, appreciate your leadership. You get to work with 12 amazing individuals, and they turn around and create a culture in all of their buildings that I'm so proud of our staff. And what they do is really welcome people into Worthington and really set that tone for 13 years, if you're with us from the beginning, that carry through middle school, and then they carry through high school. And we really appreciate your work and everything you and your team does for the district.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Pleasure to work alongside of you. Thank you for tuning in to Worth the Journey. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and maybe even learned something new about the people and stories that make Worthington schools so special. If you like this episode, don't stop here. Subscribe and join us next time. You can find Worth the Journey on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, or on our Worthington Schools website. A big shout out to Corey Carter and our communications team for bringing this podcast to life. And of course, to our students from The Ohio State University who inspired us with this idea. And remember, every journey may not always be easy, but in Worthington Schools, it's always worth it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of our community. And we can't wait to have you back on our next episode.